Okay, so it is 9:10. I will call this meeting to order. Housekeeping measures before we begin. If there's any members of the public watching and want to present oral testimony, they can use the raise hand function on Zoom. Brandon, I assume there's no one watching at this point, right?
Just Kaliko.
Oh, just Felico. Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so we can start with roll call. I will identify the members present and make sure we have a quorum. So there's myself. There's Lauren Kim. Thad is not here. Mr. Esmond is not here. Judge Hall is not here. Carol Lockwood is here. Dr. Fratarelli is here. Dr. Andaya is not here. Laurel is here. Sean is not here. Mark. Okay, so we do have a quorum of people. And as we've done in other meetings, if you have to make a disclosure about anyone present with you who's 18 or older, or anyone under 18 who has business or who has a financial interest at today's meeting, please disclose them. But if no one has anything to disclose, I assume not, I will move on. Okay, so our only action item today is I would like the task force to delegate authority to me to submit an interim report on our behalf to the legislature in accordance with Act 156, which is the act that establishes this task force. So it requires us to submit a report to the legislature, I think 20 days before the beginning of the next session. And so rather than, having to draft a report and present it and gather a meeting to vote on it, I wanted the task force to be able to just delegate authority to me to submit that, to prepare it and submit it on our behalf. And I can tell you what, it's not going to be, super in-depth at this point. I would just let the legislature know who has been appointed to the task force, let them know that we've established permitted interaction groups and the topics that those groups are set to investigate, and to share the current draft of the UPA, that the one that Judge Hall shared that we're all working on, but letting them know obviously that this is a working draft and nowhere near a final product. So yeah, that's what I would propose to do. And then, it doesn't have to be then brought back to the entire task force for a vote or anything. And I see that Mr. Esmond is here. I'll mark him present. Okay. Does anyone have any questions on? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Deirdre.
I do. Lauren, I think it's a good idea that we delegate authority to you to submit the interim report, but I do wonder whether it's a good idea to attach a draft unfinished piece of legislation. It's very easily misunderstood. Like, couldn't we just tell them that we have a draft, that we've got the pigs and we're going to report back to them? I don't want to give them a document that isn't what the task force wants to propose.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I could reference that it's similar to, I don't think it's the same, but I can reference that it's similar to the bill that Judge Hall has given the legislature before. So
yeah, I mean, certainly we should reference, recent legislation, we're building on previous work or something like that, and you can point to it and they can go look at it if they want, but I wouldn't attach something because it'll look like it's indicative of something and very easily misunderstood. So I would strongly recommend against doing that. But the rest of what you said sounds perfect to me.
Okay.
All right. This is Jerry Hasegawa. I concur with Deirdre that it's the appearance of the task force reviewing a certain document which the task force has not approved, but is considering, and therefore it gives greater weight than maybe another type of a document that the public may have been looking at, and that is the House bill itself.
Okay, understood. All right, so yeah, when I do submit the report, I won't submit the actual draft of the act, but I'll let them know that it's similar to what the judiciary has submitted. Okay, any other questions about that proposal?
But you're going to say like that we're considering the previous legislation, right? Rather than that is what the task force is working towards, because it's incomplete.
Mhm.
Yeah, I concur with the conversation. I would just say it's been offered and it's under review.
Okay.
Yeah, I
You're
like that.
considering it review.
That'd be good. Yeah. I think it's appropriate and certainly appropriate for us to indicate that we're looking at the previous work. I just don't think we should give it the impression, right, that any decisions have been made about the content of that draft legislation. So it should be deliberately vague. But what Lauren just said was perfect, actually.
Mhm. Okay, that makes sense to me. So with that understanding, are there any other questions about the proposal to submit a report to the legislature? All right,
No.
okay, Brandon, I assume there's no public viewers, again, besides Kaliko, and I'm sure Kaliko would raise your hand if he wants to share anything. So
Correct.
assuming
There's
that
no one
there's,
else.
all right, so assuming that there's no public comment on this, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the proposal to delegate authority to submit a report?
So moved.
Kim.
All right, thank you. And can we take a vote on that, please? All those in favor, you can raise your hand and I'll make a count. All right, so that's Laurel, Mark. Oh, looks like everybody, Mr. Esmond, I don't see you, but that's still enough. So we're all right. Thank you. Okay, so that passes. We can go on to the non-action items now. So I just wanted to get a temperature check of the permitted interaction groups. Thanks, Jeff, I see it. And yeah, just see if there's any concerns that have come up so far, anything anyone wants to discuss. So I guess I can share, and Jerry and Mark can also jump in if they want. Our PIG has met once, actually Wednesday, and you know we did have some revisions that we talked about amongst ourselves. Nothing that I think needs to be brought to the entire task force at this point, unless Mark and Jerry you want to you know, you have some concerns to raise, but I think we're progressing okay, and I don't think we have any specific concerns at this point. Mark and Jerry, does that sound accurate to you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I wanted to, so how are the other groups doing? Does someone from either of the other two groups want to give a little update? Laura?
I'll report on ours, and then Carol and Jeff can hop on if they want. I thought we had a really good first meeting where we shared our stories and sort of our, you know, points of view on things. And definitely, I think we're looking forward to having more discussion. Although Lauren was not able to make it, he did offer to have Office of Vital Records maybe brief us on how they handle current process and procedures, and maybe Lauren how it would change under any kind of proposal. But I thought it was a really good first meeting, and I appreciate oh, Cheryl was there also. I'm sorry, Cheryl was there also. So Jeff, Carol, anybody want to share?
Yeah, I think that the different pigs are going to be very different in their nature, right? Because some have more policy issues to discuss and try to reach some agreement on, like that one. Then there are others that are going to probably be focused more on the nuts and bolts of the language, although we all ultimately, I think, have to get to that point. But we were definitely at a policy level discussion for this first meeting.
Okay. So nothing that you think you need help with from the larger group at this point?
Not just yet, I don't think. I think I think we'll get to the point where it's going to be important to have the larger group weigh in, and it may just be a matter of this pig presenting the perspectives of the group, the various things discussed in the group to the larger group. But I don't think we're at that point yet. And I can also say on the ART group that we have not yet met.
Right.
We're working on a date.
Okay. All right. Well, given that I wanted to recommend, this is something we talked about in our group. I think we thought we should recommend to everyone that meeting at least once a month is probably a good schedule to try to keep. Just because when it gets a little bit longer than that, you kind of forget things, or you might, wait till you might not like wait till, or I'm sorry, you might like not use that time to actually, be trying to move forward and kind of wait till the end, until right before you meet to work towards the goal. So yeah, so that was just our thought in our group, that we're going to try to meet at least once a month. So I think we would recommend that to the other groups also. Okay. And I assume, Brandon, there's no public viewers or people who want to present public testimony on this point?
Correct.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions or want to talk about the progress of the pigs so far? All right.
Oh, sorry, Lauren. I think we've already scheduled our second one. I believe November 21. Did I get that date right, you guys? I think it's the 21st.
Yes, it is. That's my birthday.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to this treat.
Lauren, we'll eat cake for you.
All right, great. That's good to hear. Yeah, we're trying to get our next meeting scheduled also. Okay, so the last item that I wanted to talk about with everyone here is what everyone thinks about scheduling future meetings while we're still working with the respective pigs. So it sounds like right now, none of the pigs need necessarily a meeting of everyone to move forward with their goals. But I also don't want to, have meetings of the whole task force too frequently, if that's going to, make scheduling issues or kind of distract from the individual pigs' work. So I was thinking of, and we did talk about this too in our group, maybe having larger task force meetings every other month. And I wanted to see if anyone else had thoughts on that.
I think that makes sense, because I think there's going to be a fair amount of work to be done at the pig level before there's a lot to report, especially in our ART group.
I agree with Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with Carol.
Okay. All right. So if we do every other month, sounds like we can probably have another task force meeting as a whole sometime in December, if that sounds all right to everyone. And then hopefully meet every other month, and maybe go back to every month if and when the pigs come back and say, here's our proposal, and now we can present it to the group as a whole. But all right, thank you for those suggestions. Does anyone else have a thought about scheduling or questions about scheduling?
I just think that you're likely to run into scheduling problems in December for the usual reasons, right? It's hard to schedule anything in December. So we could try, but if it doesn't work out by, sort of early mid-month, you might as well just put it into January. So.
Yeah, I was thinking of asking whether we should whether we even need to meet before the end of the year, but I think we can try for sometime in December. And like you said, Deirdre, if it doesn't work out, then it's not the end of the world if we have to push it, but we can.
Yeah, well, that would be my inclination. And my usual experience is that by like the second to or like third week of December, you have no one's attention, and then they all start tuning in again, like around the 5th of January. So,
Great. We'll do our best to see what happens.
I'm certainly not saying you shouldn't try. I just think we should be pragmatic about trying to schedule anything in December with a large group of people. You know, I've got family visiting from out of town and stuff like that, and I'm sure other people do too.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
I'm traveling the first 2 weeks, actually.
There you go.
Dr.
Okay, well,
Farrelly, is there-
Lauren, I have to go in a couple minutes. So
Sure.
is there anything else that we need to do before I leave, or?
I don't think so. Dr. Farrelly, is the hand raise function up, or am I seeing something? Oh,
If it is, it's an accident.
okay. I see like a white hand in your screen, and I don't know what that is. All right. Well, yeah. Unless anyone else has any questions, and Brandon, again, I assume no one in the public viewing area has raised their hand or wants to give comments.
Correct.
All right, then I think we can adjourn, and I'll ask that Derek send out an email asking if people can meet sometime in December, and we'll try for that. Otherwise, yeah, let's try to have our pigs keep meeting at least every month if possible. And if there are any, if the pigs do run into an issue where they feel like they need to meet with the group as a whole to discuss, then please let Derek know, and he'll let me know, and we can try to schedule something. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks so much for giving us your time and being patient. And hopefully see you in December.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Have a
You
good
too.
day.
Happy Halloween. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.